Howdy folks. I'm going to be working on my Steps to Freedom pattern today, and today I'm sewing strip sets. I thought I had my camera going when I was working on the blue and white ones, but I didn't. And so this pile over here behind my sewing machine is the last of the blue and white ones. So I'll take you along with me with the blue and gold and the red and gold. And probably red and white. I need more of those too. But anyway, I'm listening to an audiobook, so I'm not going to be talking. I'm going to aim down to what I'm doing, and you can watch what I'm doing. When I have something to say, I will aim back up at you. Okay, let's get started. And I'm still working on that leader ender project, so you'll see me working on that as well. I'm assuming that you know how to make strip sets. You take, in this case, one strip of white, one strip of blue, and sew down the length or the width of fabric. Um, these are some that I made yesterday and have already cut them up. These are pieces that will be needed for the pattern, and we'll go over that in the next video. But I did want to point out one thing, and that is if you have directional fabric like I do, because when you make a four patch, you're going to be turning one of them upside down. You're going to have two strip sets per four patch, one with the blue or whatever your directional fabric is on the bottom of the gold, and one with it on the top. And another thing I did was I sewed them on the wrong side. You need to make sure that your blue is at the top left and bottom right. So that's something you need to pay attention to. And of course, same with the red and gold. You need to make sure that if you have directional fabric, it needs to be oriented right. The gold is always in the same position, and the print fabric, or blue and red in this case, are in the same position. So I wanted to point those out to you, At this point, I'm still figuring out how many strips for sure you're going to need. So as soon as I get done sewing and cutting, I can figure that out. And I did do one of the blocks to see how it's going to come together. And this will be block C in our pattern. So that's where I am so far. You're caught up with me, and I'm going to press these strips and get on to the next one. You can either press open or press to the dark. I normally press everything open, but for this, um, I'm trying pressing to the dark. I don't like doing that, but it gives you a more accurate four patch, so that's why I'm doing that. These particular strips won't be four patches. They'll be the longer pieces for the pattern. Okay, I've got all these pressed now. Right now I've got 4 strip sets. I've got 2 with the blue on top and white on the bottom, and 2 just the opposite with the white on top and the blue on the bottom, because some of my squares are going to need it going in 2 different directions. I don't know that number yet, but as I get farther into my cutting and measuring, I will have those numbers for you and let you know. And I don't even know if this is going to be enough. I think it is, but at this point I don't know for sure. So we're going to set these aside. I'll put these up on my deal. I'm going to make, let's see, I figured with these blue strips are, and blue and white is longer than the red and white. So let me grab my piece of paper and see what I figured. Okay, on the, blue and gold, I'm sorry. On the blue and gold, it took 2 strip sets to make because of the direction of the fabric. So I got 17 out of the 2 strips. And I need, hold on a minute. Okay, I need a total of 29. Excuse me. There goes my voice again. What do I do with them? Oh. I need a total of 29 of these. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's try this again. 1, ha ha ha, 2, ha ha, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, I wrote it down wrong. So 16. And I need a total of 29, so 13 more. So we're going to make, since we need 2 strip sets per this orientation of the 4 patch, I'm going to make 2 more strip sets. One with the gold on top and one with the gold on the bottom. So, let's see, top. Get my salvage off. Okay, this is the bottom one. I don't have one of those fancy fast sewing machines, so it takes me longer to do things than Tiffany. One of these days, hopefully, before I get too old to sew, I will have one. I cleaned my machine yesterday, thinking that that would help a little bit, but it didn't. Although it needed cleaned really bad. I've changed my needle, so we've got a fresh needle. The only thing I haven't checked is the last time it slowed down, I had to take the head off and wrapped around the, I call it the take-up lever, I'm not sure what the official tone was, there was string wrapped around it. How it gets there, I don't know, but anyway, it was there. So I might try that here in a little bit, because it normally sews faster than this. Another leader ender. What I did, I showed you my bucket full of leader enders. I just took a bunch of them and paired them up, and then I have them stacked right here, and when I need one, I grab it. Okay, that is the one with, then when I just pile them right here that are sewn, and I've got some that are sewn together. On the pattern that I'm making, you put them in a row, not in like a 4-patch or a 9-patch or anything like that. And then you make, I think it's 10 or something rows down, 10 by 9 by 10 or something like that. I'll have to look. And then on the other side it's 3 by 9, 3 rows by 9, and it forms a heart. So that's what I'm working on that. And let's see what I was doing here. This is yellow on top. So now I need one with yellow on bottom. Now some of these, you know, the truck isn't in the full thing, but what I'm really after is the color blue. So this, sorry I'm old, I can't remember what I just said. Yellow on top, so I need yellow on bottom this time. My floor looks like I've been to a parade right now. A lot of confetti. But I sweep it when I'm finished each day, so that's the benefit of having tile floor. Okay, this is the bottom. And we need the yellow on the bottom. If you're smart, don't pick directional fabric, and then you won't have to worry about this. But because I'm working with what I have, I have to deal with directional fabric. I hope you can hear me better today. I've got a different camera and I don't know what the audio quality of it is. I know the video quality is much better. I use one of the magnetic seam guides when I'm strip piecing because it just helps me. It guides up here. I use this hand to guide here and this hand here, and unless I have to stop to adjust a twist, then I can sew one continuous seam without stopping. I also have this washi tape, seam tape here that helps me out when I do half square triangles and things like that. Okay, I'm going to pause this and okay, both of my strip sets are sewn together and pressed, and I'm going to show you how to cut them when you have two opposing strip sets. Normally I would do this over on the big cutting mat, but in the interest of not having to move everything, I'm going to show you over here on my rotating cutting mat and my small stripology ruler. So what we're going to do is we're going to place them right sides together and nest the seams just like we would if we were going to sew them together. And you can feel that your seam is nested. If you don't have a stripology ruler, you can do this with your regular ruler. It's just something I use because it's easier for me. On the stripology ruler, you've got these lines going this way to line your bottom of your strip on one of these lines, whichever, it doesn't matter for this purpose. And then I'm trimming off the edge, so I'm going to go to one of these marks, probably the 3/8 inch mark, and line up the edge, and then I'll cut on the 0 mark, and that'll straighten my fabric for me. And I have new titanium blades that work so good. Okay, that's straightened. Now I'm going to go 2.5 and 5. So now these are perfectly nested together and ready to sew. I just have to remember that I need my blue on the top left, so I've got it got to make sure on these. If you don't have directional fabric, that's not going to matter. Okay, that's right side up, top left. That's okay. If you hear the noise in the background, that's my husband probably making coffee. So, no problems. I need some coffee. Okay, so I'm going to finish cutting these, and then I will bring you back on when I'm ready to sew them together. So I'll meet you back here in just a little bit. My husband just brought me lunch, so I'm going to take a lunch break, and then when I come back, I have the 4-patch units ready to sew. I've made sure that they're all oriented the right direction, and I have 17 here out of those 2 strips, 17 4-patches. So as soon as I finish this wonderful ham and egg and cheese sandwich that my husband made me, I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. I got my tummy full. My bears' tummies are full. And we're ready to sew again. And that was a delicious sandwich, by the way. Okay, we are going to this one is too small, so I'm going to save this for a standalone later, and this goes in my scraps. So we're going to have 16 that match out of this batch. I make sure everything's nested, and away we go. Now, if you are a pinner, you can certainly pin and make sure you've got everything nested, but I can feel that everything's nested together, and we should have perfect nested seams. So I'm going to finish sewing these together, and I will press them, and I'll bring you back when I'm finished. Okay, I'm back, and all of my pieces are sewn together with the ones I already had, and these, that gives me 32, and I only need 29. So I'm going to just leave them together for now, and when I get ready to assemble the blocks, I'll pick out my 3 least favorite and we'll set them aside for something else. And according to my pattern, it says to mark these 4 patch units as piece 5. So I'm going to mark those, put those over here. Oh, hopefully that wasn't, okay. I have a big board here. I'm going to put all my pieces on when I get them finished and marked. So I'm going to set this back behind me for now. I have a love seat behind me that is handy for putting things on. So in the pattern, it gives you the block, and then it gives you the pieces that block is made up of, and there's a diagram on how to make that piece. This block consists of 3 different pieces, and then it gives you written instructions on how to put the block together. And each of the blocks and each of the pieces throughout this pattern have the exact same diagrams and instructions according to whatever you need. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on piece 2, which are the red and gold, and I have 7 here, and I need I need 30. So let's see, wait a minute, red and gold, 2.5, Set need 30. Red and gold. So I need to make 3 more strip sets that are red and gold. And these I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I'll show you the strip. In each strip you've got a lot of fireworks and you've got a lot of barns. And in some of them there's some pickup trucks. Most of the time I can get the barn in the right orientation and use a fireworks in the other side so that I don't have to pay attention to whether I'm upside down or right side up. So we're going to put together 2 more strip sets of this, and that will take yeah, I have more. No, let's see. Need 5 of, I need to make 3 more. So let me grab 1 more out of my bucket. And I need 1 more of the gold. Okay, I'm going to sew those together just like I showed you on the blue and gold ones, and I'll cut those into my 2 patch units, and then I will make my 4 patch units, and then when I have all that done I will come back, because you already know how to sew your strip sets together. Now you always have the option of cutting 2.5 inch squares and putting your 4 patch units together that way. I have done it that way and it takes a lot longer. One of my earlier inspirations was Eleanor Burns, and she does strip piecing. She's the queen of the quilt strippers, and so anywhere I can do strip piecing I do. So anyway, I will meet you back here. For me it'll be probably half hour. For you, just a few minutes. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I brought you back for just a minute to discuss how I'm going to cut these 3 strip sets, since I'm not nesting these at this point because I want to have the barns in a certain position. What I'm doing is stacking them, staggering, so that I don't have all the bulk in one spot. And so I have like this seam here, then this seam here, and this seam here. And where did I put it? Then I will get all of my edges straight. And then cut my 2.5 inch pieces. So that gives me 3 at a time, because I've got all 3 of my strips going. I only need what did I figure? I need 2 4 patches out of the third strip, so I won't cut all of the third strip up. But I'll bring you back when I'm finished and have them sewn together and pressed, and we'll move on to the next piece. See you in a bit. Okay, I have all of the red and gold done. I needed 30 of those, and they're labeled piece 2. So I'm going to set these aside on my board here, and I'm going to move on to the blue and white ones. Blue goes on the bottom, white goes on the top. I have half of them backwards, so I'm going to be turning those around and then cutting up the the strips that are right and fixing the ones that are wrong. And these will be subcut into 4.5 inch squares. So it's 4.5 inch this way and 4.5 inch this way. And we need 32 of those. So I'll get to work on that. And if you're working along with me, you can get to work on yours, and we'll meet back here in a little bit. See you in a bit. Okay, I've got all of the blue and white 4.5 inch squares done, and I have them marked piece 3, and they will go back with the rest of the pieces. Next, we're going to work on the red and white ones. Let's see how many I need of those. I need 51 of those, and I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me think here. That means I need 45, and I can get 7 per strip. 45 divided by 7 B. We'll need 7 strips. So 7 more white and 7 more red for a total of 8 of each. Okay, so I will get to putting those strips together and cut. And what is that part piece? That is piece 1. Wait a minute, I've got a block made, so I already used one of those. So that means I used 2 of them. So that means I can get 9. Okay, there's 39 inches of usable fabric per strip. And each four and a half, so let's say 5. $7 per strip. Okay, that's what I figured. Okay. Okay, 7 red, 7 white. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then I have 1 strip left, which is all I need. So I know for sure you're only going to need 1 yard of your red fabric. So let me write that down, because that's what I started out with. 1 yard white. I mean red. Okay. And 7 more white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Okay, I'm going to put these together, get them cut and pressed and cut, and I'll be right back with you. Let's see, how many more pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got quite a few pieces left, but we only need 1 or 2 of those. Those are compensating pieces. Plus, I had leftovers. Okay, this is one of the pieces that we need, and this is one of the pieces. So those are already done. And I have extra of them, so those we won't have to make. The others are just, we need a gold square, which this was what was left over from the yellow and red. And I can use this square for the yellow I need, so that's done. I need 1 red and white, which I hopefully will have with that. So we're just about finished with the pieces, and then pieces and parts, and then we'll put together the blocks in the next video. So once I get this done, we're just about finished with our pieces and parts. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Piece 1 is finished and marked and ready for the board. I'm going to take a little break and I'll be back with you in a little bit. I thought I had the camera on, but I didn't, and I finished doing all the pieces, so I'm going to just go over them with you. We've got a chart which you can take a screenshot of if you want. Hold on, let me turn this light out. And this tells you the piece number, which is inside of the picture of the piece, and how many you need is the times whatever, and then the measurements. And let's see if I can do this without dropping them. This is how I've got them all labeled. So when we come back in the next video, we'll be putting blocks together. We're going to start with block A, B, and C. And then we'll go from there. The construction of the blocks won't take near as long as this video. For example, like I showed you before, this is block C, and we need I think it was 30 of them, 29 or 30, whatever I told you. And then block B, we need 28 of, and then all the others are just 1 or 2 blocks of each. So construction, once we get the blocks put together, construction will go pretty fast. And let me show you in the pattern how that will look. Okay, this is page 1. Just a little introduction, shows you what the pattern looks like. And then I go through each block, show how it's constructed. This is block A, what pieces it takes, piece 1 and piece 2. We'll go through all of the blocks that way. And then we go through row construction, and I tell you which block, row 1, row 2, row 3, so on. And then once that's all put together, we'll have a picture of the constructed quilt, which I can't have yet because I don't have it constructed. So that will be added to the pattern when that's finished. I've also included in the pattern a coloring page, which you can, if you're not doing a Quilt of Valor, you can choose to do anything you want. It's a 4-color quilt, so 4 different fabrics. The little squares right down the middle here are accents, so they need, all those squares need to be the same color. As in my quilt, all of them are going to be gold, and they're all going to be 2.5-inch squares. Everything else is either 4.5, 6.5. There's some 8.5, very few, but some 8.5-inch strips. And so I'll be including all of this in the pattern. Once I have all of this testing done and my picture ready to put in the pattern and make sure that I have everything right, then I'll be offering this pattern. This pattern's going to go in my book that will be for sale when I get all 10 patterns completed and tested. But I'm going to give this pattern to anyone that wants it for free for a period of 30 days. After 30 days, it will no longer be available until the book comes out. And I will give you more details on how to get it when I finally have it finished and ready to give. So that's, I think, oh, it took a yard of the red, a yard of the blue, and a yard of the gold, and a 1.5 yards of the white. And you cut all of that into 2.5-inch strips, and then follow what I showed you as far as putting the pieces together, and that chart. What did I do? Oh. And this chart, I'll put it up here again in case you didn't get a screenshot of it. And that'll tell you how many pieces you need and what they measure. So if you want to go ahead, if you're doing this along with me, if you want to go ahead and get this done, you'll have approximately a week to a week and a half before I'm ready to put the other video out, because I have to do all the stuff ahead of time so that I can show you. So give me a week to a week and a half and I'll be with you to show you how to put the blocks together. So in the meantime, be blessed, less stressed, and pet some fabric today. Bye-bye.